My name's Shannon and I'm the Dallas-based Brooks guru covering North Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And today we are going to be going over some tech, how to fit your runner, and much more. So why Brooks? Brooks has been around since 1914, so we are over 100 years old. Actually, to be exact, 106 years old. In 2001, our current CEO came in and scrapped our entire line. We used to make everything from ice skates, baseball cleats, basketball shoes, you name it, we made it. In 2001, we strictly focused on creating the top quality running and walking shoes. So that is all we do today. Our mission is to inspire others to run their path to a better self. We solely make running shoes and walking shoes. So that's gonna be great for the runner and walker. But in addition, people that are standing long hours on their feet, retail workers, nurses, and so on. Gym goers, and we will discuss that further in detail as we go along with this clinic. Now, proper fitting. So with the shoe, you usually want to recommend a thumb's width, or about a ½ inch from the end of the longest toe to the end of the shoe. And why would you want this? Because if you have a tight shoe, that could cause bruised toenails that are going to hit the front of the shoe. Some people do like their shoes on the tighter end, so it is personal preference, but the recommendation is going to be that thumb's width, ½ inch. It's my longest toe, thumb's width from the end of the biggest toe to the end of the shoe. So an easier way to even see this too is if you take off the shoe, step on the insole here, so you can see I have that thumb's width. Let's talk about wide widths. So we're gonna look at, just for example, the Adrenaline 20. So if you have an Adrenaline 20 in a D width and a 2E width, or even a 4E width, the platform of the shoe is going to be the same for all widths. The difference is going to come in this mesh upper. So a 2E is going to offer more coverage, so you're going to get more of that mesh to cover over the foot, whereas a 4E would have even more mesh to cover over the foot. So again, the base of the shoe is going to be the same, but where you're going to see the difference is the coverage on how much mesh covers over that foot. At Brooks, we have a dedicated team of researchers to look into runner insights. So the two biggest categories that our shoes fall into are the goal seeker, which would be our Energize category, and then our cushion category, which would be that sole runner. So let's first take a look at that goal seeker. This person is looking for a shoe that is going to help them get better. It's a shoe that is going to be performance. They're looking for authenticity and innovation. So that's why you're going to see our shoes in our Energize category move a lot quicker with changes versus shoes in our cushion category that make slower changes over time. If you have a customer that is really goal oriented, that is looking to beat a PR, a personal record, or things like that, they're looking to use it for the gym and other things, they have a goal in mind, that is going to fall into that goal seeker in the Energize category. So it's important to ask questions and really fine tune what they are looking for, what they're using the shoe for, how many miles they're running, are they using it to run or walk, and these are the things you can pay attention to really determine if they should be in that Energized experience with the goal seeker or the cushion experience with that sole runner. Next we have our sole runner, which falls into our cushion experience. These are people that are looking for all distractions to be removed. They're looking for a shoe that's soft and protective to get them out the door mile after mile, injury free. They're looking for comfort consistency, and access. So if you have a customer that walks in the door that has maybe had past injuries, maybe aches or pains, plantar fasciitis, you probably would be best gearing them into a shoe like the Ghost, Adrenaline, or Glycerin that have our DNA LOFT cushioning to give them that extra cushioning to keep them going. Let's get going. What is DNA AMP? DNA AMP is unique to our Energize category and is seen in the Bedlam 3, Levitate 4, and in the Ricochet 2. It is our most energy return, and on this shoe you'll see the silver portion of the shoe, and that is going to be what we call a TPU skin wrap. So this skin is going to resist horizontal expansion, trapping the energy and bringing it back to you. Underneath that we have our PU polyurethane foam. That is a foam that naturally expands as force is applied, delivering cushioned and springy feel every time. The Levitate 4 and Bedlam 3 offer the new Fit Knit upper that's softer, lighter, sleeker, and more breathable than the last versions. It's also going to offer a closer to foot feel for that more sock-like fit. The new DNA AMP is in the Levitate 4 and Bedlam 3, and it's going to be across the entire midsole. So this is going to be max energy return. It's 20% lighter than the previous versions. So you might be asking, how did we get it 20% lighter? So you can think of this as baking a cake. Let's say our end goal is to bake a chocolate cake. We have flour, cocoa, sugar, eggs, baking soda, and so on. You can adjust these levels in the ingredients about how much you want to add or how much you want to subtract. And that is the exact same thing we did with the DNA AMP midsole, is that we reformulated the compound to now make it 20% lighter with the same exact energy return. Our redesigned outsole offers more coverage of rubber while also providing our arrow point pattern that's going to get you from heel to toe quickly without losing energy. So let's talk about the Bedlam 3. The Bedlam 3 is going to share the same characteristics as the Levitate 4 with that Fit Knit upper that's going to fit like a glove or a sock just really nicely around the foot. The DNA AMP that's 20% lighter, and the arrow point pattern on the outsole that's going to move you quickly from heel to toe without losing energy. The biggest difference is going to be that GuideRails support system to give the runner the support needed if they're rolling in or out. As you can see with the GuideRails, when that foot moves in either direction, the GuideRails are going to kick it back into its neutral position. BioMoGo DNA can be seen in the Revel 4 throughout the entire midsole. It's an adaptive cushioning that's going to respond to whatever stride, pace, weight you apply to the shoe. So if I was to hand you Silly Putty, which is a non-Newtonian polymer that is exactly the same as our DNA. If I handed you that Silly Putty and you were to press down it lightly with your thumb's just going to squish down into it. So the lighter the pressure, the softer the feel. Same thing if you're just walking in our shoes with BioMoGo DNA, it's going to have a softer feel. But when you start running, you don't want a shoe that's going to feel like you're running through sand. So if you were to take that Silly Putty, ball it up, toss it on the ground as light or as hard as you like, you'd see it respond according to the force you applied to it. Same thing with the shoe. So when you start running, it's going to create a really springy and responsive ride. Talk talk about a great looking shoe, we have the Revel 4, the newest update to the Revel that came out in July. This is going to be in that neutral category for that medium to high arch foot type. It has our flat knit upper, which is stylish and really just kind of fits the foot nicely, has that really sleek look. Also, moving it into the Energize category, we gave it that arrow point pattern on the outsole to match what is also seen in the Energize category. You're also going to get that comfort collar, which is really soft. What's there not to love about a shoe that's $100? You can think of DNA LOFT as being soft. The DNA LOFT is this indentation in the midsole, so very easy to distinguish. It's also written on the bottom of the shoe here, if you forget. But again, it's very unique because it has that indentation, and if you feel down on it, it does have that really soft, responsive feel. So what is DNA LOFT? DNA LOFT is a mixture of three things: air, foam, and rubber to create that soft and durable feel. So the air is gonna give it that light feel, the foam is gonna give it the soft feel, and the rubber is gonna extend the durability of that shoe. So you're gonna get mile after mile of softness. This shoe, I call it the Goldilocks shoe because it has such a smooth step in. The Ghost has won Editor's Choice in Runner's World magazine 8 out of the first 12 models, including the last 3, the Ghost 10, Ghost 11, and Ghost 12. So let's get started on the updates of this shoe. The Ghost 13 is great for that person with the medium to high arch foot type. This is a neutral shoe and great for any distance. So this shoe, again, great for running of any length. It's going to offer that more soft protective ride. It's great for walkers that are also looking for a very soft shoe. Great for the retail workers, nurses, and so on. People that are on their feet long hours looking for a soft shoe to get them through the day. The biggest difference between the Ghost 13 to the Ghost 12 is the DNA LOFT. So you'll see this DNA LOFT in the outer heel of the Ghost 12. So before, this was two separate pieces, this DNA LOFT piece and the BioMoGo DNA. Now on the 13, it's co-molded. So you can think of this as a one piece. So you have your DNA LOFT and your BioMoGo in one piece. Co-molded also, you could think of it just as dropping some glues just to create a really softer, smoother ride. So you can see this DNA LOFT extends all the way through the forefoot to give it that really soft and responsive feel. Looking at the outsoles, you'll see that the two outsoles of these shoes are identical. We're going to have two very durable rubbers in the heel here. This is going to create a durable ride for those heel strikers, whereas the forefoot area is going to be our blown rubber, which is going to be air that's blown into the rubber to create a really soft, bouncy feel and also provide great traction. This little area here that does not have any rubber is called our plush transition zone. And if you feel down on this, it's a really soft spot that's going to be that foam exposed and going to give it that really smooth transition from heel to toe. So by not having any rubber here, it's just again going to provide that a smooth transition going from the heel to the toe. Also, it has a new engineered mesh and 3D footprints to create this structure. So all of these, that's 3D footprint to create the structure in the midfoot. You also have your comfort collar, so you're gonna get a really soft step in, and with it being in our cushion category, everything about this shoe is made for it to feel soft. Glycerin 18 is our most elevated cushioning, offering full-length DNA LOFT cushioning. It's also going to have our double jacquard mesh upper to provide that fit that kind of just hugs the foot just right. You're gonna also see that plush transition zone on the bottom that's unique to the cushion category. It's going to be that exposed foam, no rubber over this area, creating that really smooth transition from heel to toe off. Also, with that premium fit, you're going to get a little bit more premium insert. So you're gonna get this Ortholite sock liner that's going to have a little bit softer feel. So when this customer steps into this shoe, they are going to love the overall soft experience. This shoe is for a neutral runner, for a medium to high arch foot type, and is a great one for someone looking for max cushion. So this person is someone that is looking for more cushion than what is in the Ghost. They want to be protected and they want a lot of cushion. So again, just like the Ghost, it would be that same customer, but someone that's looking for a higher level of cushion. So great for runners of any distance, walkers, retail workers. Again, this will just provide our softest overall feel for that neutral foot type. Now let's talk about Brooks's GuideRail support system, similar to bumpers on a bowling lane, or very similar as well to this bridge. So if you have your bumpers up and you roll the ball and it's bouncing side to side, it's still going to be brought up the middle. There's no way for that ball to fall into the gutter, just like on this bridge. There's no way for the ball to fall off. Similar when you're running, if someone is rolling in, overpronating, or rolling out, supinating, those guide rails are gonna kick in to bring that foot back to the neutral position. So you can think of it as an on-demand support system that's there if you need it, but out of the way if you don't. So in that same example of the bumpers on a bowling lane, if you rolled that ball straight up the middle, you didn't need the assistance of the bumpers, but they were still there. Same with the guide rails. They always are there, sitting on both sides of the foot, but they only engage when you need it. So if the foot's totally neutral throughout the gait, it's not going to engage the guide rails until you start rolling in either direction.
We set upon one of the largest running studies in the history of the sport. And so what we found in running is that most running injuries actually happen at the knee. So from this study, we've shifted our focus from the foot to the knee. And we've created a support system that allows the knee and the foot to work more effortlessly together. In other words, so as the foot rolls too far to the inside, our medial bumper nudges it back to the center. Or if it rolls too far to the lateral side or the outside, it will nudge it back to the center. And therefore, the guide rails are working together with the foot as you go through your stride to keep the knee in its preferred motion. So in essence, they're there when you need them, but not when you don't.
Yes! The Adrenaline GTS 20 is going to be great for that person with a flat foot or low arch for that guide rail support system. We have our engineered mesh that's going to hug the foot, the comfort collar to provide a really soft step in. We have our high performance rubber and our carbon rubber, as well as our blown rubber in the forefoot to give it that really springy, bouncy feel. And then you're also going to have the guide rails. So the guide rails are going to be the biggest difference between the Ghost and the Adrenaline. This will be the support version of that shoe, just providing that guide rail support. So again, the way the guide rails work is if that foot's moving in either direction, the guide rails are going to kick in and bring that foot back to the neutral position. So really, with the guide rail support system, being an on-demand support system, always being there, but only when you need it, you can recommend any foot type for this shoe. Let's take a look at this beauty, the Adrenaline GTS 21. So you're gonna have that guide rail support system that's gonna wrap around the foot, and that full-length lateral DNA loft as seen in the Ghost 13. You're also going to have the BioMoGo DNA. So just like the Ghost 13, you're going to have that lateral DNA loft. It comes up the lateral side. You're going to have that beautiful engineered mesh with the 3D footprint upper for that structure in the midfoot. and this shoe is gonna come out in November. Welcome into the Brooks shop. Let's take a look at some recommendations for your runner. All right, so you have a customer, you have them take off their shoes, and you discover they have flat feet to lower arches. What shoe do you recommend? So remember, our top selling support shoe is going to be the Adrenaline GTS 20. This shoe is going to have that GuideRails support system that's going to bring that foot back into its alignment. Well, they're looking for a shoe that can not only get them through their gym workouts, weightlifting, lateral movements, but they're also wanting something with a little bit of running that they do on the treadmill in between their workouts. What are you going to recommend? The incredible versatility of the Revel 4 would be my top pick for this customer at the $100 price point. This shoe is great for lateral movements. It is really going to provide them with a versatile shoe for all those activities. So you have that customer that picks up these two shoes, both at that $130 price point, both in that cushion category, the Adrenaline GTS and the Ghost 13. What is going to be the biggest difference? So the Adrenaline is just going to be that support version of the Ghost. So this is going to be more so for that person with the lower arch, flatter foot, with that GuideRails support system that's going to bring that foot, knee back into alignment. There's a $20 difference, but is it really that big of a difference for $20? All right, so we have our number one seller, the Ghost, and then our max cushion Glycerin. So remember, you're gonna have that softer plush insert with the Ortholite sock liner. You're gonna have the full length DNA LOFT cushioning. So this is really gonna justify that extra $20. And then we have the Ghost 13 that now has that full length lateral DNA LOFT. These are gonna be both great options, but if someone's looking for max cushion, the Glycerin is definitely going to be the one they want to go to. All right, so sadly we've reached the end of our time here during this clinic, but I'm excited for you to take this information back to your store and deliver it to the runners that come in. Hope to see you soon in the near future.